Dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Let me get you on your dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Let me get you on your dancing beat.
Hey trainers, it's Dalton.
And Mike.
And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon MD. Just starting the episode off, we know we like to keep our episodes between 20 and 30 minutes. We're going to be covering the Pokemon Direct that happened this morning, so there's going to be a lot to break down. So this is going to be a bit of a longer episode. But without further ado, we're going to be covering the predictions that we made in our first video. We're going to be covering the characters that were introduced in the Direct, the new Pokemon that we got, which I'm really excited about, including the legendaries, the new gimmick of the generation, and just some other theories that we have going forward from now. And we should get a little bit more clarity next week when E3 happens, and we'll definitely be back with a recap of that. So to start things off, Mike, what predictions did we get right?
Well, we had gyms. It was pretty obvious they were going to go back to gyms. Island challenges were great, but, not going to stick around. So we got gyms right. Next big thing that we got right, pretty big, and I feel like a lot of people got right, was when we got the Sword and Shield logo, you saw the wolves in the back, and we were obviously right about that.
I was super happy about that. Like, I woke up early this morning to watch it, and I was half dead, and I saw that, because, like, I had told you about the wolf thing, and I was like, yeah, I was half dead. I was like, yay, I was right. And I was like going in and out between like staying awake and watching the Direct. And I was just like, I was right.
Which they look really cool. We'll get into them later. Another thing we had was overworld Pokemon, kind of like in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. From what we saw, and this could just be the footage we gave us today, but they showed you, running around the wild area, as they called it, with Pokemon, wandering around. So that's really cool, especially going to a new region, seeing Pokemon that you've never seen before. Obviously going to run up to them and try to catch it. Another thing we got right was the fact that we got it wasn't really right, but I had definitely requested full Pokedex. We didn't get that. They said that we were going to see a lot of Pokemon that we've seen before, which is cool. From the Pokemon that we saw today, which we saw, 5 new Pokemon?
I think, let me count real quick. Yeah, 5 new Pokemon and 2 legendaries.
Yeah, so, we're not going to get the full 150, I get it. We're already very high in the numbers right now, so it's kind of hard to get there. But from what I saw in those total 7 Pokemon, I was sold on how limited the Pokedex is. I do hope it's more than 75 Pokemon. We'll get there later, obviously. But, yeah, we were pretty good. From what we saw, we said that we also wanted a bigger map, and from what it looks like, we're going to get a pretty huge one. Hopefully that holds up in the game. We haven't seen exact map of where we're allowed to go and everything like that, but hopefully, it's on the Switch, it can support it. Hopefully we do get that. But from what we've seen, it looks like we're going to get it. But that's almost, I think, touching everything that we had talked about in our first video, talking about the Galar region and everything. So, you're up, buddy.
Alright, so next, I feel like we should just go ahead and touch on the characters. And I want to start this off by saying Happy Pride, everyone. Like, we got a stud for a champion. We got a full snack. Leon is fine. Like, Zaddy. He's hot. But yeah, we got introduced to our new champion, Leon, who is supposedly undefeated in his record. And Mike was saying, as an athlete, the athlete that he is, he wants to be able to take him down himself, just as like a sense of pride. Talking about pride already, but a different pride. And then we got introduced to his little brother, Hop, which we could have done better on naming him. We could have done better naming our rival. Like, Hop? Okay. But let's just hope he's not another How. Because, like, How was definitely, like, the comedic relief and everything, but he was a very easy rival. So I'm hoping that because his brother is the champion, that gives him more incentive to be challenging. And then we got introduced to the professor of the region, which in the games is the second ever female professor, with Professor Magnolia. In the anime, she will be the third female professor, because we have Professor Ivy was the first female professor in the anime, and then Professor Juniper was her predecessor. No, sorry, predecessor. It's late. We are recording at 11 p.m., and I'm running on fumes right now. But yeah, we had Ivy and Juniper before Magnolia. And funny thing that I made a connection to while I was at work today, her name's Magnolia, and the Galar region seems to be very like steel, like steampunk-esque, like Industrial Revolution type vibes. And there was a movie back in, I want to say it was the 80s, called Steel Magnolias. So I just thought that was like a funny coincidence, whether they named her that because of it. But we got to see her granddaughter, who is her assistant. We got to see Sonia, and they said that she would be helping out. So I feel like she's gonna show us how the new gimmick works, which we'll get to later, the Dynamax. We'll get to that later. I feel like she's gonna be the one to show us like how we use it, give us like the tool, the item that we're supposed to use to utilize this gimmick. And then who else did? Oh, we got to see at least one of the gym leaders. We got to see the grass type gym leader, Milo, which Mike has a funny joke that he wants to make.
Well, it's not really a joke, it's just a point, but we both said that we're picking score buddies, so we both know that we have one gym badge already, basically, because, fire beats grass, so we got one gym badge already, we haven't started playing.
Yeah. But, I think that about covers the characters. Let me look. Yeah, that about covers the characters that we got introduced today. The next, I think we're going to move on to the Pokemon that got revealed. And, Mike, do you want me to cover that, or do you want to cover it?
I just want to cover you can cover the legendaries, you can cover, I just want to cover.
You want to cover Dreadnought and Corviknight?
Yeah, those guys, yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go first. We got a peek at a limited amount of Pokemon today, and I was kind of asleep as well. I was getting ready for work, but when I saw Dreadnought, I was like, okay, this is cool. I was like, I want him already. And then I didn't know the typing yet, and I assumed it's going to be some type of rock dragon, some type of I thought dragon was in there for sure. Then later we got the typing, and we saw water rock, which I think is really cool typing for this type of Pokemon. It looks cool, but I immediately went to Druddigon. I thought this looks exactly like Druddigon, and you had said that he looks like it too, so maybe there's some connection there.
Yeah, it definitely has like the facial features of Druddigon. One thing that I was going to comment on is that I think my theory, it definitely looks like it's a pre-evolution. It looks like it's going to evolve. I think that either Dreadnought or Sobble will evolve into like a Loch Ness Monster type Pokemon, and just because Scotland's a part of the UK and Nessie is definitely a part of Celtic and Scottish culture. So that was just like my comment on Dreadnought. Dreadnought was definitely really, really, really interesting and really cool. It has a great design, and I can't wait to see like what it becomes and what it can do.
You know already though, it's probably gonna have a very low speed stat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so that's definitely, I'm already looking at him like the tank of my team.
Yeah, I see him being like a very strong attacker. Like, because it showed on Serebii that one of his abilities is Strong Jaw. So it looks like he's going to be a very strong like physical attacker.
Looks like Crunch is gonna go on there for sure.
Yeah, because that gets boosted.
The next Pokemon I'm gonna talk about is Corviknight. Flying Steel type. That is an awesome typing. I don't think we've seen that typing. It's not a very common typing. The only Flying Steel that comes to my mind immediately is Skarmory. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll look it up real quick.
But, it looked very mysterious dark. When I first saw it, I was thinking maybe this is going to be flying dark, which would be really cool. But, they decided to go with flying steel, which is awesome. And again, it kind of touches with you see that steel's probably going to be a big thing in this region. You see the certain towns that have that, like, industrial vibe going on. But yeah, I looked at Corviknight, I looked at Dreadnought, and obviously Scorbunny, and I'm like, cool, I already have half my team filled up, and we haven't even played it.
Yeah, Corviknight, and what I found interesting is they put flying as the first type. Like, instead of it being the secondary typing, like most birds, they put it as the first type.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, because like you think about it, they got like all the regional birds are secondary flying.
Sure. Do you think this is the regional third, or do you think we'll get something else?
Part of, like I told you earlier, I feel like it definitely has a pre-evolution. Whether it is the regional bird or not is to be determined. But who knows? We'll get to see that later on. I'm looking at the list of steel types right now, and Celesteela is also steel flying. So.
Yeah, it's not a very common typing, which I thought was.
Oh no, it's not.
If we're gonna go with uncommon typing, I hope that extends to who.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. That's a topic for another day. I can talk about that for 30 minutes.
Oh, same. But the Pokemon that I wanted to talk about, and that Mike told me he saw them and he's like, Dalton's gonna want them, is Gossifleur and Eldegoss, the two grass types that we got to see, the flower one and the cotton ball. The Eldegoss evolves from Gossifleur, which I think is really cool and everything. I was a little disappointed because, like Mike said earlier, we didn't get to see the typings until, I want to say, 20-30 minutes after the release, the direct. And so I thought because of Gossiflor's color pattern that she was going to be the first grass fire type that we all kind of really want. But sadly, no, they're just pure grass type, which definitely could be great. They have a new ability. I'm gonna look it up, but like they have a new ability called Cotton Down, which if a Pokemon uses a physical attack on it, their speed stat gets lowered. So that is real great.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, I definitely think that Eldegoss is going to be like a strong defensive Pokemon. Like it'll have some good like offensive moves, but I feel like it's going to like how Aromatisse and Slurpuff are kind of counters of each other. In the Fairy type, we're going to get like a counter for Eldegoss as like a strong like physical attacker. Because I feel like Eldegoss is very, very much like Slurpuff, and Slurpuff was very on the defensive side. So we got that. Eldegoss is definitely going on my team. And then we have Wooloo, which try saying that fast and not sounding like an idiot, but Wooloo we have as, which is interesting because if I'm looking at this right, it's the Route 1 normal type, which is interesting because normally the Route 1 normal type is a rodent, like a rat or a mouse or like a ferret or something. This time it's a sheep.
Yeah.
And someone who grew up in the agricultural world and raised sheep and showed sheep in FFA for better part of his life, I'm actually happy about that. And I do think that Wooloo is going to, like all the ones that we saw today, I feel like are going to get evolutions. Like with Corviknight, I feel like he's going to get a pre-evolution. Eldegoss, we already know, like, evolves from Gossifleur. I don't think we're going to get any further than that. I think it's just going to be a generic, like, 2-stage evolution. Dreadnought, we're definitely more than likely going to get an evolution to Dreadnought. Wooloo, I can see them keeping it as just, like, the basic sheep, but I can also see it evolving in at least, like, 1 stage further. Definitely not 2 stages, though.
Yeah, I feel like you can only go so much with Wooloo.
Because I feel like I feel like they're saving a lot of their sheep design for whenever they do get to the sheep fire type starter. Because like we all kind of realize that the fire starters follow the Chinese zodiac, and they haven't done sheep yet, or they haven't done the ram, which is just a male sheep. But I feel like they're saving their designs for that starter.
Yeah, they gotta somehow make a firefighting sheep, you know?
No more firefighting, please, Game Freak.
I'm throwing jab.
We are begging you, Game Freak. Do not make Score Bunny firefighting.
And we had said not to talk about it before, and here we are.
Yeah.
This is what you do to us, Game Freak.
This is what you do to us, Game Freak. Come on. But next I was going to move on to the legendaries, Zacian and Zamazenta, which I definitely had to watch the direct right before we started recording because I could not remember how to pronounce their names.
Yeah, I was like, this is very early. I do not know how to, I'm going to need to watch this again to pronounce these correctly.
Yeah. Zamazenta, the shield wolf, the shield dog, great design. Like, I love that the shield is a part of its mane. Like, it definitely is well designed and well thought through. Zacian has a good design and everything. It holding a sword in its mouth, I was kind of hoping that the sword would be like its tail, or the little like ribbon things it has coming off of it. Since Zamazenta's main is essentially the shield, they would make a body part of Zacian the sword instead of just having it hold a sword, which I mean is cool because we've seen Pokemon hold items before. Like we've got Farfetch'd holding a leek, we've got Pangoro, Pancham, and like the Trico line having like sticks and leaves in their mouth, like, and then the Conkeldurr line holding the various pillars that they have. So like we've seen them hold, we've seen Pokemon holding items before, like Braixen and Delphox have sticks that they light on fire. So we've seen Pokemon hold things before. I just thought that like, because if you're gonna have one Pokemon have their like box name be part of their body, have the other one do the same.
Yeah, I guess if we're looking at it like in that way, who looks better? Zamazenta obviously looks better. I'm still leaning towards Sword more, but
I'm definitely getting that double pack.
Yeah, double pack is definitely, which I thought was really cool that they announced that today. By
Yeah,
the way,
they announced the release date and the fact that they're doing a 2-in-1.
Yep, very busy time of year. That's when everybody releases their games. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, November is like late November is usually when we get a new Pokemon game, and I'm looking. I think it's just, but yeah, it is 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That we get it. So we know that's like, it's gonna be a hot game. It's definitely gonna be flying off the shelves for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Oh, joke's on you if you think I'm waiting that long.
Oh yeah, no, I am 100% getting it on November 15th. Like, you and I are both going to get, like, if the GameStop that we have here has a midnight release, we are both going to get that at midnight.
Oh yeah, definitely. Double pack for days.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it comes at a discounted price. Obviously, we'll get that information later, but I mean...
Well, I took, not to brag, but I took an accounting class last semester, and the bundle price is usually, it's still a bit more expensive than the normal one, but it's cheaper than if you were to buy them both at the same time, like individually. So.
I mean, I wouldn't mind paying a little extra if there was, a collectible inside of it. Yeah.
But, like, it's not, like, a Switch game is average with tax, like, $62, $64.
Yeah.
So 2 of those would be, it's late at night, and I'm not a math major.
That's coming in at like probably $130.
Yeah, around that. Like, if you were to buy them both individually. So I think that the bundle's probably going to be, like, maybe 110, 120. Like, they may not... We know that Nintendo definitely doesn't do discounts, as seen by the Switch.
Yeah, it's very rare. You could have picked up, I think it was last week for Memorial Day sale. You could have definitely gotten, I think, Super Mario, I think you could have got Mario Odyssey for $49.99. So sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do, but it's very rare. Like, Nintendo knows that they do well, and they take people's money. Like, they're just like, why go on discounts when we do so well? But we love you, Nintendo. We love you so much. Because you make amazing games.
They definitely have a lot more hits and a lot less misses than a lot of other consoles do.
Yeah.
Because they're very selective about what goes.
And I just feel like they have a better, like, in my opinion, like, no shade to Sony or Xbox. I just feel like they have a little bit better creative team.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a big jab here, but they don't have EA, ruining things for them.
Yeah. But we covered all what was, like, announced in the Direct. Like, we
haven't even talked about the big thing, the gimmick.
Oh, that's right. Gosh, it really is late at night. We haven't touched on Dynamax.
The biggest thing, literally.
Literally the biggest thing. Mike, since you're the one who's more awake than I am, please cover that.
So, we knew we were getting a gimmick. A lot of people, including ourselves, were expecting to see what some people were calling Armored Evolution. But instead, we got this new phenomenon called Dynamaxing, which, when I first saw it, I wasn't sold. I was, a little indifferent about it, but after I saw it direct a couple times, definitely was into it. So Dynamaxing essentially is getting a bigger, a giant, stronger version of your Pokemon with kind of like in the Alola region and kind of with
the totem Pokemon?
Yeah, and also kind of getting with when you Mega Evolve and you touch your the stones, the Keystones, or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Keystone.
It's kind of like that, but this way you get a bigger, more powerful version of your Pokemon into battle. And what I thought was cool was that it's only 3 turns that you get to keep your Dynamax Pokemon, which I thought was cool because it forces you to be strategic about it, which Pokemon to use, which attacks to use. You can't just rely on it and bank on it the entire time. So it's kind of like Mega Evolution where only one Pokemon can do it, and it's kind of like Z moves where you get a limited amount. So they kind of essentially combined the two and then added just a bunch of, craziness to it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like Z moves where like any Pokemon can do it. Just because we saw a wide variety in the Direct to use it. Like, we saw all the starters be able to use it, obviously. We saw a few of the Dynamax raid battles that we'll get into in a minute that you would get to challenge, and it definitely seems like they learned, not that they learned from their mistakes, because like Mega Evolution is one of the greatest things that they've ever done. Just with giving it to a select few Pokemon, and I understand like redesigning Pokemon is hard and takes time, but like a lot of people were and kind of still are expecting new Mega Evolutions, which sadly I don't think we'll ever get new Mega Evolutions. But they learned from their mistake a little bit and making it to where every Pokemon can use a Z move, and now I think they're going to make it to where every Pokemon can like Dynamax.
Yeah, which makes it cool because then you get some Pokemon that are not high up there. For example, I'm probably going to catch Wooloo just to catch Wooloo, but I'm not going to keep him in my party.
For long.
But, for long. But maybe Dynamaxing somehow makes him worthwhile. Maybe it's going to do that for Pokemon that you typically just, put them in your PC and never touch them again.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to, make them a little more valuable. But moving on to the, the raid battles.
Mm-hmm.
Me, when I play my games, I don't really go to Pokemon to have, like, the online community thing that most games have. So to me, it's kind of like, I don't know how often I'll use it, but it's a good idea.
If they make it to where, like, you can get, like, the hidden abilities of the Pokemon, or, like, a special move of the Pokemon, that would be great.
I think they mentioned that if you caught a Dynamax wild Pokemon, that it was stronger than a regular Pokemon.
Yeah. And
So
that may just mean, like, it's a higher level. That may just mean, like, it's a higher level. But, like how when you go in Alola, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, when you go through the wormholes, you can get Pokemon that have their hidden abilities.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking too, is maybe you get something like maybe there is I guess an incentive, for lack of a better word, for using the raid battles. The only thing is I hope
Excuse me.
it's coordinated well, because I feel like it's just going to be the first person who clicks Dynamax, and you actually have to work together.
Yeah, because they said that only one person in the party can Dynamax.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that's great because if everyone were Dynamaxing, then like, where's the fun in that?
Oh yeah.
It's definitely made for like, I feel like that is definitely kind of made for kids a little bit more, just because the kids are going to be around their friends more often, whereas you have people like the demographic like you and me, where we're in college and we try and see each other on a regular basis, but how often are we going to be in the same room to do like a raid battle together? And yeah, they did say that there was the online function where you could raid battle with like anyone across the world, which that is great news for someone like me who stays up in games till like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, definitely. It's I just hope it's not like you get somebody who, like, let's say for example, has a Magikarp that doesn't know anything other than Splash and Dynamaxes.
Yeah, that would be. I would look at that person and I'd be like, really?
I would like try to find a way to report them. I'd be like, this person used a Magikarp.
They used a Magikarp. You're not getting it. A Magikarp.
And not a level 19 Magikarp, no.
A level 5 Magikarp. I feel like Dynamax might have like a certain level that you have to wait to use it.
That would make sense. I mean,
because like you're not like I'm just throwing it. We don't know if they're in this region or not. I'm just throwing a Pokemon name out there. Rattata. Say you go catch a level 2 Rattata. You're not gonna Dynamax that thing.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not going to Dynamax a level 2 Rattata, but I'm just hoping that that's not allowed, and that because you don't want somebody who is just messing with everybody, who's actually trying to, play the game, somebody come in and try to mess with you.
Yeah.
And
there are definitely going to be trolls, because, like, online, it's unavoidable to, like, not have a troll nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
So I do kind of want to see how they'll handle that.
Yeah, same, because, like I said, you're trying to catch that Pokemon. I'm a little antisocial with gaming. I only will game as close friends. I don't really like to. I have a game that I don't even play anymore because I don't even know if one of my friends still plays it, and I'm like, I don't want to play with random people.
Yeah, like, I'll still occasionally play Overwatch, and every now and then I'm just like, please, just don't give me trolls, because it's no fun. But one thing that I just remembered from the Direct is that Corviknight is what's called a Pokemon taxi, and he'll be able to fly you to the towns that you've previously visited. So that means that Pokemon, like, ride Pokemon are coming back. Or some form, like, HMs are dead and buried. So that's good news. God. Well, at least that's my prediction, because, like, why would they have a Pokemon taxi that, like, flies you everywhere, and then you have to use the other HMs?
Yeah, I agree. Another thing that we didn't see in the Direct was the 3 regional legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, there's always a Trinity.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. I think we might get a peek at E3, just depends. I feel like that would be giving a lot up.
I don't think so. I think that's gonna come like a couple months before the game comes out, because now, like, if I'm if we're going based on past releases, they do the June Direct, and then they do E3 where they clear up a little bit of what went down in the Direct. And then each month we'll get one announcement until November when we get the last announcement, but I think a week before the release.
You got to applaud their consistency of sticking to a plan and, sticking with it that way. Their fans are expecting, when things are coming.
Mm-hmm. We are very, routine creatures.
Yes, and it seems like just yesterday we got that little baby direct, which is what it is compared to the direct we got today.
Yeah, we got the Pokemon press conference, which that is great because it shows how we're going to be able to transfer Pokemon from the 3DS games to our Switch.
Yes.
Just one thing that I wanted to make abundantly clear for everyone. Pokemon Home has a two-way communication with Sword and Shield, meaning you can put Pokemon from the Galar region in Pokemon Home and then pull them back. But with Ultra Sun, the 3DS games and Let's Go and Go, there is only a one-way connection. Once you put that Pokemon in Pokemon Home, you are not getting it back. You are not getting it back to the 3DS. You are not getting it back to Let's Go. You are not getting it back to Pokemon Go. There is only a one-way communication. The only one that has a two-way communication is with Sword and Shield.
I stopped playing the games pretty hardcore back with, I think, Black and White. So, not really going to affect me. I'm just moving forward with it. That is definitely big, especially for people who have been with, a certain Pokemon for such a long time.
Yeah, I just felt like that PSA needed to be said.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, it just seems like yesterday we got to see the starters for the first time and actually figured out the name of the region. And I remember telling you, I want to know more, and you're like, you have to wait till June.
Oh, yeah. Well, there were rumors that, we were going to get mini directs before now, but I kind of, being the long-term Pokemon fan that I have been out of the two of us, I like you said earlier, I kind of know the routine of how things go. And I was like, we may get one, but we may have to wait until June. But the one thing that they kind of did out of the ordinary that I told you before we started recording was they revealed the starters a lot sooner than they normally do. Last year, it was 3 years ago now. Wow, it was 3 years ago that Sun and Moon came out. They had released just the names. They had just released Sun and Moon, and that was it. We didn't get to see the starters. I don't believe we got to see the legendaries until the June Direct, maybe E3. But I know they usually wait a while before they reveal a lot of heavy information.
It kind of makes you think, well, what do you have to show at E3 without giving everything away?
Mm-hmm. E3 is usually the polish, oh, we just had a direct, this is what we were showing, this is a little more in-depth of what we did. I'm saying maybe because we got the starters a little bit earlier, we may get to see what the middle evolutions look like, but I'm not holding my breath.
I hope we get to see some actual gameplay.
Yes, I would love to see some actual gameplay.
Because, you get hyped and then you see game footage not final or a little message down the bottom. You're like,
game footage not final or not actual game footage.
Yeah, not actual game footage. So maybe we can get some actual gameplay in here. I wouldn't mind, this is the beginning battle with your rival Hop.
Yeah.
Maybe get to see that battle shape out. I hope he actually picks, or I think it showed that he picked your Pokemon's weakness.
I don't know. I'd have to go look at the direct again because I think I saw like he picks the weaker one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I'll go watch the direct again after, but I think they're sticking with your rival picks the weaker one.
I miss the days of Blue.
Yeah, Blue and all the other rivals up until Gen 5?
Yeah, well, Gen 4's rival was so rude.
Yeah, Barry was just very rude and needed to not.
Well, you had Barry and what's his name?
Well, you had Barry and like the gendered counterpart of the player.
Oh yeah.
That you never got to battle. They battled alongside you.
So Paul was just in the anime?
Paul was just in the anime.
Having the Mandela effect over here. Thinking I actually battled him in the game.
No. There may have been a character named Paul, but the anime version was never in the game.
Ah.
But,
Okay, now I remember it. Yeah, now I remember, yeah.
But exciting news, unrelated to Pokemon. We may have like one or two more episodes where Mike is joining us via phone because he is moving back to the same area as me.
Yes, I've been away for a year. Very excited to go back to school and everything. So maybe 1, 2, 3 more episodes where I'm over the phone and the quality is not 100%. But then we'll get back and then we'll be on better sound quality.
Yeah, we'll be on better sound quality, and then for at least 6 more months, and then I'll graduate in December.
Yep, and then somebody graduates.
And then someone graduates and possibly moves, depending if he can get a job. That fingers crossed.
That is the real battle.
That is the kids. You want to know what the real battle is in real life? Finding a job after you graduate college.
Yep. No Pokemon Centers for free after that.
No. But I think that about wraps up the episode. Like I said, I think we went just like 10 or 12 minutes over what we normally do. But like I said, there was a lot to cover in this direct because the June direct is usually where we're gonna get a lot of meaty content.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got an appetizer back in March, I believe.
Yeah, I want to say it was like March.
March, February, around there, late March, late February, early March. Now we got what seems like the entree, but they probably have more tricks up their sleeves.
Mm-hmm. But until then, see you next time, guys. And also, because it is June, happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride, everybody. Thank you.
Dancing feet.